Hi, everybody. In this video, we're going to be finding out what is going on in Ireland, and we may touch upon what's going on in other parts of Europe and how the changes that the governments are putting in place are robbing us of our freedoms.
Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
Businesses need a platform that allows people to access and manage their office workstation from anywhere and anytime. WebConnect does just that. Our browser-based desktop platform enables you to seamlessly migrate your office into a private cloud, giving you total control of your desktop, files, and important data. It's encrypted end-to-end connection, making it totally secure and ensuring peace of mind for users and administrators alike. Put WebConnect to the test and transform the way you work remotely.
Hi, everybody. This is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, although this is not about crypto. This one is about freedom. And I've been doing a whole bunch of videos about freedom and how our freedom's being impacted. And you can find most of those. In fact, you can find all of them on Odyssey, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. Please follow me there. So it's an email subscription. Please also follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and join my official Telegram announcements channel. Most of this video is going to be on Odyssey because we're going to be talking about the sorts of things that YouTube doesn't like. But it's important for you to know. So maybe the first 5-10 minutes on Odyssey, then on YouTube, and then we'll come over to Odyssey. All right. Aisling, thank you so much for making yourself available.
Hi, Rich. Thank you so much for having me on. We've so much to discuss. There's so much happening.
So much to discuss. And we're going to be starting off with Ireland and seeing where it goes, right? Because I know there's a lot going on in Ireland. But do you want to say a little bit about who you are and why you are, very briefly?
Yeah, well, I'm somebody who spent 20 plus years in the mainstream media. So I studied journalism for my sins in Dublin City University, spent 4 years doing that, went on to local radio, local newspapers, the Limerick Evening Echo, Clare FM, and then up national TV and radio. Did a bit for Pat Kenny on RTE when I was studying at DCU. And then I became a newsreader when I was really young. They wouldn't take me now, now that I actually have a bit of maturity and all the rest. It's funny, isn't it? When you're young and immature, they want you. What's that about? And terrified. So I used to read the news for around 6 years and report and go out and try and figure out what's going on in murder scenes and in the forecourts and all that. Got very, very cold doing all of that because it's hard work, trying to get all your facts and trying to get all your figures and running after people. And then I decided, let's get warm. And I got the offer of a really nice little gig on a show called Expose. And I got to travel the world and interview celebrities and be on the red carpet. Did that for nearly 10 years. Then I had babies. By the time I was on my third baby, you can't do all of that. They say you can have it all. No, you can't. I can testify to that. So I continued in the mainstream media writing for the Irish Mail on Sunday as a columnist and doing their fashion pages. And then all COVID hit. And I thought, what's happened to the mainstream media? I never called it the mainstream media when I was in it. But I could just see that all the newspapers were saying the same thing. And I would always look at a global view because I moved to France in the meantime. As I was writing for the Irish Mail on Sunday, change of scene. My kids are half French anyway. So we came down here and I was looking at all the newspapers, like the French newspapers are saying the same thing as the English newspapers, as the Irish newspapers, as the Washington Post, the German papers, because you get them all on the rack, so you really get to see. And then I'd be looking online anyway, because I would have had to do that for my job. And I could see that something very strange had happened. All the newspapers were saying the same thing. They'd all gone into lockstep and they were all reading off the same globalist script. So alarm bells started ringing. And then there was talk of this digital vaccine passport and things started to get very real and very dangerous. And then I started to do some research on all of this and realized it wasn't even a vaccine. They changed the name of that. They changed the definition of pandemic. They've shifted language. I started looking into where's the money coming. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funding the World Health Organization, alarm bells. We have Bill Gates standing up saying he wants to depopulate the planet with the help of vaccines. He even said it, I was sending all this stuff furiously out to my friends and family, trying to warn them. Went on Instagram, red alert, lads. Left my job. I thought I can't slag off the mainstream media and be part of it, and staged a big campaign on Instagram. Ran as far as I could with the ball before being banned. But we had this incredible little moment where there was thousands of people exchanging information. And when that happens, you start to learn things really, really fast. It's an incredible way to learn things because you can cross-reference and then you can challenge each other, you can debate it, the way we should be learning. And in a time of censorship, and there was grave and great censorship during the whole COVID thing, people don't realize because they fell for, oh, she's a crazy anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist, right-wing fascist, and how foolish they were to fall for it, and how sad it is that they fell for it and were so easily manipulated when all the evidence was there, but they couldn't hear it because the bloody mainstream media that I was part of, my former colleagues that I'd spent 20 plus years with, continued as normal reading this globalist script because somebody came down from sales with a clipboard saying, well, the client wants you to say this. And that's how it works, you know, he who pays the piper calls the tune. But nobody told the public this. And the sad part is then the public were put in grave danger. They weren't given informed consent when it came to this so-called vaccine. They thought they were doing the right thing. They thought they were saving Granny, who was being medazzalammed up in the care homes. And, you know, it was a great, great deceit, a grave betrayal. And we're still processing it, still getting over this terrible thing that has happened. And people are still saying stuff to me like, oh, she's got a tinfoil hat. And you just think, oh, you sad.
Okay, actually, I'm going to stop you there. You don't have a tinfoil hat. You probably
I don't mind having a tinfoil hat.
No. You probably have the same one as me, which is made of rock solid titanium.
Yeah.
It's really, really strong, right? But
damn right.
But I know, and if in a few minutes we'll move off YouTube because we're going to talk about some rather sensitive topics, but also important topics as well. But I don't work in journalism, but I've always taken an interest in politics and current affairs and stuff. And one of the things I noticed, just like you, is how come this government in this country, like this left of center government, and then this right of center government, and then this further right government in another part of the world with a different political tradition, and this other government with a different political, how come they're all doing the same thing? That it would start here and then another government would follow. Where's the divergence? Because you've always have divergence. I mean, even within the European Union, there's divergence in how the different members countries carry out some of their policies and conduct their business and their health systems. But where's the divergence here in Europe? The only real divergence, apart from maybe Serbia and Belarus, was Sweden. So that was just that. This is odd. They're all saying the same stuff, in lockstep. So that got me alerted. Plus, also, my parents are homeopaths. I know about Tuskegee. And for people who don't know, this is where the US government and pharmaceuticals knowingly poisoned the group of African-American sharecroppers, the poorest of the poor, with syphilis, didn't tell them, and then tracked their decline over many, many years, over 40 years before a whistleblower was finally believed. That whistleblower went to the mainstream media and they did first. And I think the first outlet he went to, they didn't listen to him. And then he took it to another one. So, it's anyway, so we're going to be talking about what's been happening with people who've had these, what YouTube says are safe and effective injections, what's been happening. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the immigration issue in Ireland, which I've been kind of following a little bit from here, and what that involves, because it's also a little bit similar here in the UK. And they're also going to be talking about censorship. So for that, you'll have to come over to Odyssey for the rest of that so we don't get censored. All right, we are now on Odyssey and we are having a few technical issues.